Before Egypt raised her pyramids, before Greece gave birth to philosophy, before Rome built her empire, there was said to exist a civilization so advanced, so spiritually elevated, that the gods themselves walked among its people. Its name echoes across millennia, spoken in the dialogues of Plato, whispered in the mystery schools of antiquity, encoded in the myths of every ancient culture on Earth. Its name was Atlantis. And the deeper you look into the ancient record, the more you begin to suspect that Atlantis was far more than a sunken island. Across traditions separated by thousands of miles and thousands of years, the same story surfaces again and again. A golden civilization, divine teachers, a catastrophic fall, and a wisdom so powerful that even its destruction could not erase it from human memory. Most people know Atlantis from the Greek philosopher Plato, who described it in his dialogues around 360 BC, not as myth, but as recorded history, a story passed from Egyptian priests to the Athenian statesman Solon, and down through generations. According to Plato, Atlantis was a massive island empire located beyond the Strait of Gibraltar, a place of extraordinary wealth, architectural wonder, and spiritual power unlike anything the ancient world had seen before or since. But the real significance of Atlantis was never merely political or material. It was metaphysical. In the esoteric traditions of antiquity, Atlantis was the seat of a divine mystery school, where beings of immense wisdom first established direct contact with humanity. These traditions spanned ancient Egypt, Greece, the Mayan world, and the Hindu Vedas. Across all of them, the same memory pulses beneath the surface, the memory of a civilization that was not built by ordinary human hands. The divine rulers of Atlantis were highly evolved spiritual beings, what some traditions call divine kings, beings who descended from higher planes to guide early humanity. Poseidon himself is said to have founded Atlantis, falling in love with a mortal woman named Cleito, and building her a magnificent dwelling surrounded by alternating rings of sea and land, the iconic concentric circle design of the Atlantean capital. From their union came 10 divine kings who divided the continent among themselves. The eldest was named Atlas, from whom both the continent and the Atlantic Ocean take their names to this day. These rulers were philosopher kings, governing through wisdom rather than force, their authority drawn not from conquest, but from genuine spiritual attainment. At the heart of Atlantis stood a great temple of Poseidon, its walls lined with gold, silver, and a mysterious alloy called orichalcum, said to shimmer with a reddish-gold light found nowhere else on Earth. The Atlanteans possessed advanced knowledge of astronomy, sacred geometry, and the manipulation of natural forces. But above all else, they possessed the mysteries, a sacred system of spiritual initiation allowing human beings to commune directly with the divine. This tradition became the mother of all mystery schools, the direct ancestor of the Egyptian mysteries of Osiris and Isis, the Greek Eleusinian mysteries, the Pythagorean Brotherhood, and the great Hermetic schools. Every esoteric tradition that followed was a surviving ember of the original Atlantean flame. But over generations, a catastrophic corruption took hold. The divine blood grew diluted, ambition replaced wisdom, and the sacred mysteries were twisted from tools of spiritual elevation into instruments of power and domination. It was not merely a political failure. It was a metaphysical catastrophe. A civilization that had severed its connection to the divine source from which all its power flowed. The gods withdrew, and in a single terrible day and night, earthquakes and floods swallowed Atlantis beneath the sea. Yet the wisdom did not perish. Before the final destruction, a remnant of true Atlantean initiates escaped, sailing to the far corners of the ancient world. They arrived in Egypt, establishing the mystery schools behind the traditions of Osiris and Thoth. They arrived in Mesoamerica, where the myth of Quetzalcoatl, the feathered serpent who came from across the sea bearing civilization and promised one day to return, preserves their memory still. They seeded the Vedic traditions of India, depositing knowledge that would flower into the great spiritual inheritance of the East. The gods of Atlantis were not supernatural beings that died with their civilization. They were eternal principles, archetypes of divine wisdom embedded in the structure of the cosmos itself. These archetypes never vanished. They were preserved within the myths, symbols, and rituals of every culture that followed. Every time you see a king crowned with the sun, every time you read of a divine being descending to teach humanity the arts of civilization, you are encountering the echo of Atlantis. Please do subscribe.